Tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart. Tell me that you understand. 'Cause you are the one for me. If you just believe, 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 believe. Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart. Tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart. Tell me that you understand. 'Cause you are the one for me. You just believe. You just believe. You just believe. You just believe. Listen to your heart. 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 Tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart. Tell me that you understand. 'Cause you are the one for me. You just believe. 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 Believe. Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart. Tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe.
Yes, people, welcome back to another late night chat. Your favorite live podcast, your favorite live Manchester City podcast. I hope you're all doing very well. I hope you all enjoyed the opening of Euro 2024. It is nice to watch football. Me and Joe were saying before we went live, it's nice to watch football again. You know, competitive football that doesn't, you're not emotionally attached to, at least for me anyway, because Ireland aren't in the tournament. But, tonight's match, Germany-Scotland, none of us really are going to lose sleep depending on the result. So it was nice to watch that. But as I say, this is a Manchester City podcast. International football can go suck a dick, because tonight we are here to talk about transfer business. This is business must be done. Transfer window is open. You may have seen on the channel today the first of our daily transfer video uploads. I will be uploading daily on the channel. Daily. Every single goddamn day of this transfer window. And look, I'd appreciate all of your support. Just go and check it out, hit the like button, and show love to it, because it's a big effort, you know what I'm saying? And I want to give you guys the content. We want to give you guys the content. But listen, tonight we have to have a chat. It was going to be about transfer business. It is going to be about transfer business. Plenty to talk about in that front, but Kyle Walker, mate. Kyle Walker. He never knows when to just drop the mic, does he, Kyle Walker? He never knows when to go, you know what? I've done enough talking. I've done enough podcasts. I've done enough interviews. I've said enough stupid things. I've done enough stupid things. He just don't know when to stop. But listen, 50 in the building. 50 people already here, live and direct. Hit the thumbs up button, man. Hit that like button if you like the content. Subscribe if you're new, on the road to 1 million subscribers. Help us get there. Help us get to 1 million, and hit the subscribe button and link in the chat if anybody would like to be a channel member. Right, Kyle Walker, let's start with him, because it's the elephant in the room. We have to get it out of the way. Now, look, I want to preface this by saying, if some of you are in the chat and you're like, oh, you're just negative, doom and gloom, why are you going in on our players, and why are you complaining about our footballers and so and so who have given us so much? I get that. I take that on board. And look, I'm not one to regularly criticize Man City players. If you know me, I'm generally blindly optimistic. I'm generally blinded by love, and I defend them to the core. But sometimes, very rarely, they do stuff that does piss me off. And Kyle Walker has had a sequence of things now, a sequence of pieces of content, essentially, that you're kind of going, why? Like, why, mate? Why are you doing this? Why are you there? And why are you saying this? Why are you starting your own podcast? Why are you on Rio Ferdinand's podcast? Why are you doing interviews for The Sun? And now why are you talking about Jack Grealish not being included in the England squad? He could have just said something. Look, if it's media duties and this is an interview that he has to do, so be it. But I think he went about the answer to this question wrong, and he's left looking like a bit of a prick. I know Joe's not best pleased, but I suppose, look, in my thoughts in summary are, you're Jack Grealish's captain back home. I get you're trying to lick Gareth Southgate's bollocks. I don't know why. I have no idea why you're trying to lick Gareth Southgate's bollocks. Stop glazing. Southgate's never won you fuck all, and he's not going to win you fuck all. So stop talking like Gareth Southgate's the king of football. You know what I'm saying? He's let England down himself as a player and now as a manager too multiple times. To say that the players are there on merit, I take that statement. I take that statement on board, and I take it on board from the majority of people in the squad, because I think the majority are there on merit. But for Kyle Walker to say he's not shocked about Jack Grealish's exclusion from the squad because players are there on merit, it makes him look like a bit of a prick, because you're not there on merit, Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker is not in the England squad on merit. Kyle Walker had a poor season. A poor season that will be glazed over by the fact that he was the captain. He was the captain of the 4 in a row winning team. But if we're going to talk about performances, people, Kyle Walker was stinking more than he was good. So you're not there on merit. So if you want to talk about the manager's favourites, Gareth Southgate's favourites, and he's not doing it because he has favourites, everyone's there on merit. No, you're there because you're a favourite. You're there because you're a reliable, trusty option for Gareth Southgate, who he's worked with for a long time. You're not there because you performed really well this season. Gordon's there because he performed really well this season. Eze's there because he performed really well this season. Cole Palmer's there because he performed really well this season. Foden's there because he performed really well this season. No, you're not. I don't know about you, Joe. Actually, I do know about you, Joe. I'm going to let you have your go at this because I'm just sick of this guy. He just doesn't embody what I view as a captain. And maybe some people may feel differently to me about what a captain should and shouldn't do in a way a captain should and should behave. But for me, he doesn't move like a captain, doesn't speak like a captain. And of late, he's not playing like a captain. I just don't know with this guy anymore.
I mean, I'd just be sat here for the last 5 or so minutes, smiling, smirking, laughing. I'm doing that, but inside, I'm hot, I'm heated. I am flabbergasted, I guess you could say. My head might not even be on Mars anymore, might as well be on fucking Pluto. My head has gone. Honestly, I thought, right, Euros, he'll shut up, he'll do training camp, he'll go through the tournament, probably do an interview when they get knocked out, because they probably will get knocked out, then they're going to win it. And then that'll be that. Then it'll be holidays and pre-season, and then we just get on with our lives. But I was wrong. I was dead wrong. This guy, at the first opportunity, decides, what am I going to do? Put my face on the media again. I'm going to say some quotes, get myself an interview, and people are going to talk about me. I'm not having that this was part of media duties. Why would he as a vice captain be speaking and not the captain? Why? Why would it be that way around? It wouldn't. If it was a forced media, it would surely, for, about the squad, surely it would be for the captain, the guy who's going to lead the team, not the vice captain. The guy who's going to be the secondary leader. I just don't understand what goes through his head sometimes. Not a lot, I assume, because it's not the first or the last that this is going to happen. He set up his own brand new weekly podcast, which I don't know why anybody has thought that is a good idea for him to start a fucking podcast. The amount of shit that comes out of his mouth, he just needs to learn to shut up and get on with his game, because his game has been shit for the last 12 months. He couldn't have given a fuck in most of the games that I'm seeing. Look at the goals we're conceding. Cup final, that second goal against United, Mainu. What is he doing? Just standing there like a melon. The guy can only get himself up for the big games. Real Madrid at home, even then I still think he cost us the goal, right? But he did pretty well with Vinicius in the second half and into extra time. Like, he can get himself up for these big games against these big matchups. But I remember not too long, I think it was after Real Madrid at home. We played Nottingham Forest away, and he got rinsed by Callum Hudson-Odoi. Honestly, this guy needs to focus on his game, because he's cost us multiple goals, and there's a lot of people, including myself, that are now looking at the situation and going, I'd rather him sold. I don't want him to be captain, certainly. If he's going to stay, I want him as far away from the armband as possible. He's not a good captain. He doesn't lead by example. He doesn't lead off the pitch, because we all know the stuff that he gets to off the pitch. It's always in the fucking tabloids. He's not a good captain. And how he has the nerve to say the squad is there on merit when you've got players like Lewis Dunk, Luke Shaw, himself in that England squad who have either not played very much or not played well enough to warrant it over other players is baffling. I do not understand. I don't think I've seen Luke Shaw play consistently in the United shirt for 4 to 6 months, and he was one of the first names on the plane. I know we don't have a lot of left backs, but how can you as a vice captain say that Luke Shaw is in an England squad based on merit? You can't. He needs to look at himself in the mirror. He's not there himself on merit. He's there because he's an experienced player. That's it. That's the reason why he's there. And what makes the whole thing worse is that this is his club teammate that he's throwing under the bus. This is the guy that he trains with week in, week out. This is the guy that he plays with, that he has won with, that he is the captain of at club level. And he's basically going, he doesn't deserve to play for England or the Euros. He doesn't deserve to be in the squad. His captain has publicly said that he did not deserve to be at the tournament. His captain should be backing him. Mm-hmm. That's what I want my captain to do, to back his teammate, his club teammate. You know, even if you don't believe it, at least publicly say that you think it was unfortunate. You know, don't go out there and throw him under the bus, the guy that you are captain of at club level, and say he didn't deserve to go to the tournament. It's ludicrous. I do not understand. Like, is there a way back? Because a lot of people are pissed off, and rightly so. I was pissed off before that. The Rio Ferdinand podcasts, going and speaking to The Sun, all of these other interviews, the post-match interview after the FA Cup final. Dear God, do we have to go back and remind ourselves what he said there?
No, I fully take on your frustration, and I think the majority of the chat agree with everything you're saying. It's like, as I said at the top of the show, we aren't going in on players. We don't go in on players or Manchester City, anybody to do with Manchester City just for the sake of going in on them. That's not what we're in the business of doing. But when you're consistently shooting yourself in the foot and just saying and doing stupid things, like as Ali Garcia says in the chat, all this and it's still not as bad as being on a podcast with that Housen. That you know what I'm saying? Like, why are you on a? I get it's Rio Ferdinand and he's your buddy, whatever. You know, former teammates. I don't know if they played together or not, but you know what I'm saying? They definitely know each other very well. You're sitting there with Stephen fucking Housen, one of the biggest prick of a United fan on the internet. He slated Manchester City, he slated Pep, and he slated everything to do with us. And you're sitting there as our club captain, sitting there chatting to him. Bro, come and chat to me and Joe. Chat to City Extra, chat to LB, chat to Martin, chat to whoever, any City Report podcast, chat to a City channel, chat to a City podcaster. Why are you sitting there chatting to fucking United people, ex-United legend, and a big United dickhead of a fan? Why are you chatting to these people? What are you doing? And I know it sounds very cliche to say, but Company never would have done this. Gundo, Fernandinho, none of these guys would have done this. Look, if Jeremy fucking Doku made a podcast of his own, I'd say, listen, come on, I know you're young and that, but you know, you're probably focused on your football, but whatever, work away on your podcast and have a laugh with your mates. But not the club captain. The club captain operates on different responsibilities. The club captain operates on a different image. He has to be the ambassador, the front face of the club. So when you think of Manchester City and their leaders there, who is driving the standards, who is driving the dressing room to all be pushing in the right direction, the same direction. That's what you want your captain. That's what Gundo did. That's what Vinny did. That's what Fernandinho did. That's what captains of worse City teams did. That's what captains of teams before we were taken over did, because they bought into the ethos of Manchester City and they agreed. They understood what we were about. This Kyle Walker guy, terrific footballer when he was at his peak. But I'm sorry, he's not a good player right now, and he's absolutely not a good captain. I've been pretty open and honest with my feelings about him since kind of the middle of the season. That I'm more than happy to see the back of him this summer. I'm more than happy to sell Kyle Walker this summer and let him go and say, look, yeah, your last season wasn't amazing. We won 4 in a row and you captained it. That's a great, accolade for you. Your last season wasn't great, but let's just try and remember the good times. I'm happy to part ways with Kyle Walker and say, let's just remember all those good years you had because you were amazing, unplayable for those years. But as of right now, he's on a slope where it's hard to come back from. You know what I mean? It's kind of irreparable damage he's doing right now with these things. I get what he's doing with that interview regarding Jack Grealish. I get he's trying to just appease to Gareth Southgate and appease to the wider population of the England fans. But that's not what I want. I don't give a fuck what Gareth Southgate or the England fans want. I'm a City fan. I care most about City. I don't know. I mean, Joe, could you imagine if De Bruyne was excluded from a Belgium squad in Jack Grealish's circumstances and Company was the captain of that Belgium team? Do you think he would have said the same thing? No, he wouldn't. I think he would have defended his fellow teammate at Manchester City.
Because he's a good captain, he's a good leader, he knows what it takes to lead. Kyle Walker hasn't got a fucking Scooby. He don't know what to do. He does not have a clue how to lead. He's basically the face of the club. Like, he is the ambassador for the club, essentially. He is the guy. Whenever you look at, whenever you go to a club, he is the club captain. He is the go-to guy from the player side of things. And he's a horrendous captain. He's the worst captain I've ever seen. And I said that a few months ago. He's the worst club captain, official club captain. Maybe not a worst to wear the armband, but he's the worst captain that I have ever seen. Because he doesn't lead either side. If he was playing well and doing all these podcasts, I couldn't give a fuck. Because he's playing well. And that's all I care about mainly. I'd maybe be a bit annoyed with some of the shit he's doing and saying. But if he was playing well, it wouldn't be as much of an issue. And again, if he wasn't the club captain going and speaking to Rio fucking Ferdinand on his own podcast and Howson on his own fucking podcast, if he wasn't the captain doing that, it wouldn't be as big of an issue. It wouldn't. If he was not the club captain, it'd still be annoying, yeah, granted. Because if you put the amount of media stuff he's done and the performances together, it's very frustrating. But you could kind of go, but just lay him off with it. Like, you know what I mean? It's not a big a deal. But the club captain going on what is essentially a mainly Man United media source and then bigging up Man United after they have beaten us in an FA Cup final.
Yeah, forgot about that.
What the fuck? What the fuck is this guy doing?
Yeah, I forgot about that one, you struck a chord with me. I forgot that when he was like, I'm happy for my friends in the dressing room. Mate, shut the fuck up. It's a Manchester derby. Yeah? Not one blue is happy for your mates in the dressing room of the winning team, the Manchester United dressing room. What are you playing at, brother? I totally forgot about that. We never spoke about that properly. But that did do my tits in, people. I can't lie. That did do my tits in. That's not what a captain says. I'm happy for my friends in the dressing room of our arch rivals who just beat us in the cup final. What the fuck? What's wrong with you, mate? What's wrong with your head? Bro, I'm sick of this guy now. I'm genuinely sick of the guy. See that Rio Ferdinand podcast with Howson and some other dickhead from Arsenal? You may as well go and sit down on the United stand with Mark Goldbridge. You may as well go sit there with them. It's the same atmosphere, same people with the same motives and same intentions. Go and sit there with them. Look, in the modern day, right? In the modern day where social media and podcasting and YouTube and everything is a phenomenon, I take on board and I give a bit more leeway if players want to get involved and, collab with content creators or do this, that, the other. But be selective about where you go and be selective about what you say where you go. I think it will be a classy thing to do for a club captain to go and sit down with a City channel and, speak to the fans, speak openly. I think it would be a cool thing to do. Not a United-orientated channel, but look, I don't think he's going to leave this summer. I think he's going to be with us next season, and I don't want to give him any more airtime. He's I know, Alec. I know the cup comments. I can't believe that no one spoke up about that. And do you know where the disappointment stems from the most? The players who voted him to be captain. I assume they voted him to be captain just because he's one of the longest serving members and he's the oldest in the squad or whatever. Other than Scott Carson, of course. But there's far better leaders in our squad. There's far, far, far better leaders. Kevin De Bruyne, Ruben Diaz, Rodri, these kind of guys. These are much better leaders. These are guys who would know how to carry themselves and would bear the weight of the armband much better than Kyle Walker. So look, I don't want to talk about him. I don't want to talk about him anymore. I've had enough of him. So yeah, look, it is what it is. Listen, we're gonna move it on. Even Bernard, 100%. MCFC Alex, Phil Foden in the future, 100%. Look, let's park Kyle Walker there. I want to talk transfers. Bit more fun, bit more to actually talk about. Like I said, people, I am doing daily transfer videos. They're only about 8 to 10 minutes each, so they don't take too much time out of your day, and you're getting a full roundup of what's going on. So when you see my transfer videos, all I ask is that you hit the like button on them and show them love, because I want to know that you're enjoying them and that you're appreciating them and that I should keep doing them. So show love to those videos. Another one out tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. You catch my drift. Look, let's move on. Oh, super chats. My fucking bad. Professional idiot. My bad. This is why we need you in the chat, professional idiot, because me and Joe, we go off. Do you know what I'm saying? We go off and we forget about what the structure of the show is about. Appreciate you. Walker needs to walk already. Spurs is continuing to be our bogeyman, whether they are playing against us or playing with us. No Kane curse is good. I agree. That Walker should sail off into the sunset, collect his bag in Saudi or Munich, wherever he wants to go, get your final big payday. You're not what we need right now, Kyle Walker. You haven't been for the last year or so, maybe year or two, you could argue. I think it's time to go. And the Spurs curse, the no Kane curse, yeah, thank fucking God for that. But we're still dealing with Son, aren't we? Even though he did us a favour in that game. Big up, Son. Big up to you, professionally. King of the members, man. Look at him. King of the members. Become a channel member today. Big up Bevo with the $4.99. Big up Bevo, man. We were meant to have a show, of course, this week with Bevo on, but schedules and sort of thing kind of clashed between a few of us, so we're going to reschedule for next week. He says, Walker always ends up dropping a bollock in interviews and getting him out in pubs. Not captain material, lead by example. Spot on. I couldn't agree anymore, Bevo. He just doesn't carry himself like our captain, like the Premier League champions captain, does he? He just doesn't have that personality. He doesn't have the brains for it. It takes a certain level of maturity, I suppose. And I'm not saying he's immature. I'm just saying it takes a certain, like a really specific level of maturity, a really high level of maturity that most of the squad probably don't have. There's 4 or 5 of them have it, but he doesn't have it. He doesn't lead by example. He doesn't lead by his actions either off the pitch. So I agree. I agree with everything you're saying. And big up Agur, member for 2 months. My guy Agur says big up. Congratulations and thank you for being a member for 2 months. If anybody else wants to help support me and Joey Boy and become a channel member, there is a link in the chat right now. We massively appreciate all you guys' support during this off season when there's no Premier League football. You know, all your support massively helps. All the likes, all the subscribes, super chats, member chats, all that stuff. You're keeping the lights on. You know what I'm saying? And food on the table and that sort of thing. So big up to all of you. Right, let's move our way into transfers, Joe. I don't know for Kyle Walker. I don't want to talk about him anymore. Let's talk about Bruno G. I put up a tweet today saying Bruno. And people were like, what do you know? I kind of made it pop off a bit, and I apologize to anybody who got gassed up. But I have heard things. And it's only to you people. It's to you people who actually watch on YouTube and show love here that I will tell you my little insights to. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you guys my insights. But all those guys on Twitter who don't come over here and like and subscribe, they're not getting any of the inside information. Just you beautiful people. But look, what I've heard is kind of similar to what I've told you before. I heard 2 different things today, Joe, from 2 different people. And they're both positive. The first being that Bruno's personal terms is agreed. I think I told you that a few weeks ago, guys, but I heard it again today from another person. And then I heard from a separate person again today that his personal terms are close to agreed. And I also heard from both sources that Bruno's agent is in consistent contact with Manchester City and that City is Bruno's preferred destination above leaving anywhere else. His order in what Bruno wants this summer is City, stay at Newcastle, and then anything else below that is whatever. So he wants Manchester City. City is Bruno Guimaraes' priority this summer. Like I said, personal terms are either close to agreed or done, according to what I've heard. Once again, people, you don't have to take me as ITK or gospel. I don't claim to be anything like that. I always just tell you the little things I hear. Do you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I hear things and I always feel like I have to share it with the community. So big up to all of you who are locked in because you guys get this from me. So yeah, that's what I've heard regarding Bruno. That he really wants the City deal. We are his absolute priority. We are priority. Then it's staying at Newcastle. This is what I want to hear. This is what I want to hear. But this is not what I was concerned about. I wasn't concerned, Joe. I don't know about you for 1 bit, for 1 minute, I should say, that Bruno didn't want Manchester City. I wasn't concerned for 1 second that he wouldn't push to make this deal happen or personal terms would be an issue. My issue with this deal was City. How are City going to navigate the release clause situation? How are City going to navigate how much they spend on this guy should they get the deal done? Because it seems like we are reluctant to spend 100 million on the release clause, which for me is bad. I fully believe we should be triggering that motherfucker straight away whenever it becomes active. Only 10 days left on the release clause, MCFC, Alex. Exactly. We should be triggering that shit straight away. But yeah, that's what I've heard today, Joe. I mean, what do you make of it?
What do I make of it? I make of it that I hope to God we don't make a fucking bollocks of it again and just pay the money. Don't support a bank. Not my money. Not my problem. For a football club. And it's the best thing for the football club is to sign someone who can cover for Rodri, because that is best for long term and short term. Literally the best thing for the club is getting someone who can play there. So it's something that I want to get done. Obviously, there's a little bit more pressure considering there's 10 days left of his release clause. I don't know whether we are waiting to see what happens with the court case, maybe see if some rule changes come about. I don't know. I'm not a legal expert. I'm sick of fucking talking about it, to be honest. I don't know why I brought it up, but you have to, because it is something that obviously can affect transfer business and how much you are allowed to spend if they alter the financial rules. So maybe there's that. I mean, the transfer window already opened today, so I wasn't expecting anything big. But in the next few days, I'm hoping that we get some sort of indication from one of the main sources. Of course, the other day it was a few Newcastle accounts buzzing around saying that they're hearing that we've triggered the release clause. Turns out that that wasn't the case and we haven't. That's kind of all we've got so far, apart from obviously you've got some inside information that personal terms are there or thereabouts. Martin as well, Mancunian Way, I think he's pretty adamant that it's almost done as well. I think it was 98% club. Tone was on him for that one, and he was on you as well today, wasn't he, for getting loads of DMs about Bruno. Tone, he was getting asked by loads of people because it's a transfer that I think a lot of people are desperate for because we know how important it is. But
I think Joe, we have persuaded the City community. Yeah, I think we have got a lot of you guys on board with the Bruno G signing because not too long ago, a lot of people were like, nah, don't get Bruno, get Kimmich. I'm telling you, we will be much more happy and comfortable with Bruno G than we would Kimmich. We'd be much more glad of the business for Bruno than we would Kimmich. I think we have convinced some of you lot. If we have convinced you over the course of the last few weeks, let us know in the chat. But yeah, look, the Bruno tweets, the Bruno tweet popped off. Tommy and Tone and all getting tagged, asking a load of questions. Look, as I've made it clear, people, this is business I think City need to do. Let me close this door 1 sec. I think this is business City absolutely need to do. It should be priority number one, and I don't think the business should stop there. I think City have some not major, but you know, a decent size amount of surgery to do this summer. That means shaving off players out of the squad that we don't see fit for the future, and it means bringing in players that are prepared and ready for the right here, right now, and life after Pep. Because as it stands right now, we are looking straight at life after Pep. So Bruno for me is he ticks all the boxes. He ticks all the boxes. Transfers and FIFA manager, they're so complex. This is real money. I know, Alec, but it's not my money. It's not my money, and City are good for it. City have the cash. City been banging on about the war chest. Joe, how long have you heard about the war chest for?
That long that I don't think it exists. It's just a buzzword to get people excited. So we ain't fucking seen it.
This is it, man. This is it. Look, the thing, I think Newcastle are holding out for the release clause to end, obviously, because then they hold the trump card in the situation, don't they? They then dictate how the situation goes. And there's something in my head telling me that Newcastle will find the way to navigate this FFP thing, to navigate the pressure on them to sell some of their top assets. I mean, even as McMahon622 in the chat says there, did you see Crystal Palace situation, Joe? He says, Joe, check out the Crystal Palace shirt sponsors. They're a betting company called Net888. I think it seems they don't exist, and their promo page has a picture of a dead YouTuber on it. Have you seen this situation?
Yeah, they have like a Twitter account with about 12 followers. No one's ever heard of them. They're like I could be wrong, but they were like a betting company from somewhere like Singapore or something like that. Vietnam. There you go, Vietnam. I knew it was somewhere in Asia. It was like a betting company from a foreign country that no one had heard of, and they have no presence on like online at all. There's just no trace of them. That they appear out of nowhere.
And their founder, or the image that they used for their founder, was allegedly, because I don't actually know the details, but what the internet is telling me is that it's an image they used of a YouTuber. It was nothing to do with this company who's dead. So I don't know. Are Crystal Palace doing something allegedly dodgy there? I don't know. I just think with the powerhouses Newcastle have running their club, the consortium, the Saudi consortium, and those they have in place, like your one Amanda Stavely, something tells me they will find the way to navigate their situation, their financial situation. No rhyme, no reason behind it. I just have a feeling they'll find the way to get around it, which is why I think City must trigger the release clause. They must trigger Bruno's release clause and spend the 100 million. I don't need to go over this again. We've said it a million times. I don't think he's a 100 million pound player, but I do think it's 100 million pound business. Good 100 million pound business, because you're paying the 60, 70 for the player, because he is a 60, 70 million pound player, and you're paying 20, 30, 40, whatever for the fact that he's going to back up Rodri. He's going to help Rodri sufficiently with game time and strain, because when you have Rodri talking about being tired, you have an issue there. So look, Bruno, for me, Joe, it's a must, mate. It's a must.
I mean, we paid 100 million, no questions asked, when it was Jack Grealish. Similar situation to me. Like, maybe we need. I know when it was Grealish, we were also after Harry Kane. That was the main target. It was Harry Kane and Grealish, because obviously we needed a striker at that point. But I don't know why we wouldn't. I genuinely don't know why we wouldn't, because it is the main position. You can speak about maybe a defender, especially if you're thinking on Kyle Walker, you want him gone, and just our defensive record of the season just gone. Stone's always injured. Maybe a defender, maybe another attacking player, whether it's in a wider position or a creative midfielder or a player who can play both. You know, again, up for debate, but the main position that we need before we sold anyone, we needed before the season started, and we've gone through a whole season, was a holding midfielder. Or someone who can play there. Again, Bruno is not a holding midfielder. He's not just a 6. More than happy to see him play alongside Rodri in an 8 and pushing forward. Or vice versa, the other way around. More than happy. So he can do both. Mm-hmm. He can complement and, rotate with Rodri. He can do both. It's 100 million business, because you're buying a player who is worth maybe, 70? Something around that ballpark, 70?
Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
70? That extra 30 million is protection for Rodri. 100% worth it.
Fucking good. If you're telling me it's only going to cost 30 million to get a guaranteed protection for Rodri, I'm paying it. Get the security in. It's 30 million security. Pay it, motherfucker. Do you know what I'm saying? It's good business. If you ask me, we have the best defensive midfielder in world football. He's 27, and I guarantee you, at the rate Rodri's going right now, he'll be done by 32, 31. 32 if we're lucky, yeah? He'll be jaded, he'll be tired, he'll be physically run into the ground from playing 70 games a season. Pay the 30 million. And as look, Darsh says in the chat, Hugh, no one's talking about our midfield has little energy at the moment, and Bruno G gives a new lease of life. Bruno is a greyhound, lads. He's a greyhound. He runs all day. He's tenacious. He wins ball. He creates. He gets forward. And he's a leader too. Do you know what I'm saying? He's a tenacious, aggressive midfielder who's reliable. There's nothing to think about here. There's nothing to negotiate other than City negotiate with Newcastle or whatever. For us, there's nothing to negotiate as fans. There should be no reason You want you shouldn't want you should want you shouldn't want Bruno Guimaraes. It just makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. I'm not particularly bothered about Kimmich. I don't care if he's available. I'm really not long term. I'm not bothered about Kimmich. We don't need the right back cover, so that kind of takes off one of his attributes for me. And we need the midfield cover, and Bruno can do that in bucket loads. And he's younger and he's prem proven. I think he walks straight into the team, Bruno. I really think he walks straight into the team. He'll take some strain off De Bruyne's. He'll take some strain off Rodri's, and that's what I need. And then the question is, well, what does that do for Kovacic? And I spoke briefly about this on today's transfer roundup video. I'm a fan of Kovacic. I like him, and I fully appreciate him for what he came in to do, and he did exactly what he came in to do. He was not brought in to be the Gundogan replacement, Kovacic. He was never going to be Ilkay Gundogan, yeah? Simply not good enough going forward, yeah? He's a good controller in midfield, good calm mind on him, and he's a high footballing IQ, but in terms of being potent going forward, Kovacic ain't that. So I get him. I'm glad for what he was able to do for us this season. But is he what we want moving forward? I'm going to be real no. I'm going to be real no. We paid 25 million for him. Really good business. Excellent business by all accounts. And we're being told now that Galatasaray are interested in signing Kovacic. And if we got 15 for Kovacic, 10, 15 for him, I'd say let him go and then go and invest in a Bruno or whatever else. Yeah, like Kimmich's wages are high. They are high. I mean, look, I don't know too much about that, but I'm talking about the actual player here. I'm not too bothered about Kimmich. I like him. But, I mean, Joe, Kovacic, Kimmich, the whole situation there, where are you at?
I mean, Kimmich played really well tonight. If anyone watched the game. Like, he played really well. But
he's a very good player.
Very good player, but Bruno is still my first choice. It just is. I'm not saying Kimmich wouldn't work. It would be a flop or anything. But there is more of a logistical chance of Bruno working, given the fact that he's been in the league for, 2 years, played in the Champions League already. Like, there's more of a chance that he works. And he's just a better fit for the Premier League. The Premier League is a big, strong, physical league. We're going back to that, that style of football where if you look across teams, they all pretty much have physical presences. If they don't, then they're not usually at the top of the table. Look at Arsenal. Amount of set-piece goals Arsenal scored. Look at our team. We went from a team of 5'7" technical geniuses. Now look at the amount of players 6 foot plus that we have across the team. Played 4 centre halves last 2 seasons ago. Like, it's going back to that, and Kimmich is obviously a bit lightweight. If he was to play as a lone holding midfielder in the Premier League, he could do it. No doubt. Kovacic did it at times. But there are certain games where, you look at Rodri and go, his physical presence is just unmatched. He just goes kind of unnoticed because he does everything else really well. And then in terms of Kovacic, I don't know whether I'd sell for 10 or 15. I'll be looking closer to getting my money back if I'm going to sell. Because there's no pressure for us. I don't know how long he's got left on the contract, but he seems happy enough, and he's a very useful squad player. So I'd hold out for a bit more, but I wouldn't be against letting him go because we can sign better. We can do better. He was always, from the moment we signed him, I said this. He is a stopgap player. He's not a long-term solution. He's a player we have for 1, 2, maybe 3 seasons at a push, and then we let go. Because we signed him on the cheap. He filled a hole that we needed for a couple of seasons. Now we don't have a use for him. That should be the plan. We have him because we went for a little bit of a change. We lost Gundogan, we lost Mahrez, we needed a bit of experience, and he was cheap, and he was on the table. So we got him to fill a gap, and he did fill a gap. He did it very well. But we can get better than that, and that's what we should be aiming for. We should be aiming to move on and get someone better.
Kovacic he's got 3 years left on his deal, and he's 29, and he's on 150 grand a week. I think he'd have to lower his salary, which I don't know would he accept that, but City could definitely ask for their money back. City could definitely fucking ask for their money back for Kovacic then. I think you're right on that sense. I just threw my eye over Kimmich's wages, and I think, if we were to go and get Kimmich, he'd have to lower his wages, unfortunately, people. He'd have to lower his wages. He's on €375,000.
Fucking hell, man.
He's on 375,000 a week right now, Kimmich. I'll tell you for a fact, for all of you Kimmich lovers out there that really want him at City, we're not paying that.
Fucking outrageous. I wouldn't want us to pay that. That's ridiculous. For a holding midfield player, for a primarily, he's not an attacking midfield player. He used to be a fullback. Now he's on almost 400 bags. No.
No. It's stupid money. Stupid money, Alec. Exactly. City ain't giving Kimmich 375. I mean, who do we have? Let me have a look and see who's close to 375.
Haaland,
so we have
De Bruyne.
It's literally if you're going to bring in Kimmich on his current wages, you're putting him just below Erling Haaland, just below, and you're putting him just above Bernardo Silva, Jack Grealish, John Stones, Phil Foden, Rodri, etc. You're making him the third highest paid player at the club. No,
and he's not guaranteed to start every week. That's ludicrous.
Yeah, man. And then for those of you asking about Bruno's on 160k a week.
He's on under half.
Yeah, bro. Bruno's on 100. If you gave Bruno 200k, he's delighted. You know what I'm saying? Bruno, I don't know what the agreed or the allegedly potentially agreed wages are for Bruno, but Bruno on 160k a week. If you gave him 200, I think he's buzzing with that. I think he takes that. It's just better fucking business, people. Come on. It's just better. If you're someone who actually does take seriously the financial side of the game, which I don't really, like, I'll slag other clubs and I'll give stick to other fans of other clubs when they spend stupid money on stupid players. But being, between me and you people, my community, I'm not too arsed because I don't support a bank, as me and Joe say a lot on this channel. I think Bruno for 200k a week and for the 100 million at 26 years old, I prefer that. I prefer the player. I prefer the package. I prefer everything that comes with it. So I can't lie. For those of you who like Kimmich, go DM him. Tell him to lower his wages. Then maybe.
If he cuts his wages almost in half to about 200, 250, maybe we could talk.
I would imagine we would be willing to offer Kimmich, yeah, I mean, about, what would you say, Joe, 2 to 250 in between, somewhere in between there?
Somewhere in between. Not a chance he would touch 300. Not a chance.
So you'd put him in with, so Vardiol's 200, Rodri's 220, Foden's 225, Stone's 250. You'd put him in that bracket. You'd put him in that bracket just above a Kanji, Walker, Ake, and so on and so forth. Ruben Diaz is on 180. You could argue he might deserve more. But look, City ain't giving him 375. I'm sorry. That's just the harsh reality. The City aren't going to give him 375. Big up to Bevo, 9.99 super chat. Big super chat. Thank you, Bevo. Massively appreciate you, brother. Like I always say, people, all your super chats and membership chats and becoming new members and gifted memberships, it really helps more than you can imagine. So thank you, Bevo, for that, man. Very generous. He says, after watching Germany game, Wirtz or Musiala is a must. Bro, we are going to talk about these players. Is a must KDB replacement. Wirtz stinks at Real Madrid, and Musiala would be tricky but more doable. Agree, Hugh. We must pay Bruno. Release clause. Kimmich also good tonight. Kimmich was good. I expect Kimmich to be good tonight. First of all, I always expect Kimmich to be good. He's one of those players. He's consistent, bro. Musiala, Musiala, people. He's the truth. He is the truth. Bring Tiki. If you're going to retire, as your farewell, leave us with Musiala. Leave us with Jamal Musiala. The kid is the truth. He is an absolute superstar in the making. The technical ability, the way he reads the game, the way he knows how to pick up the pocket of space, the way he's in his brain, he's 2 and 3 steps ahead of other players, seasoned players. He's ahead of them in his brain. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to run a midfield up and down the pitch. Bring me Jamal Musiala. Yeah? Vincent Kompany, we built you a statue. Now, in return, we want you to send us Jamal Musiala. You'll get him anyway. When you come to get the City job in a few years' time, he'll be here waiting for you. All I ask, Vinny, Send us Musiala. Joe, brother, could you imagine a midfield of Foden, Musiala, with Rodri behind, and you got De Bruyne coming off the bench, or you got Bruno who can mix it in there as well? Imagine Bruno and Musiala thrown into our midfield. Are you mad, people? Oh, I know you watched him tonight, and I watched him a fair bit for Bayern too, and he's levels, man. He's levels above pretty well anything Bayern have.
Well, there was a lot of mixed, and there was a lot of people mixed in terms of who actually had the better game, Musiala or Wirtz, because they both played really, really well. But I'm sorry, Musiala is the pick of the bunch. Oh my god, it's ridiculous. A guy at that size should not move like that. He shouldn't.
Oh, he's on less than 100 bags a week.
Why do you think he's putting pressure on Bayern to give him a new deal?
He's on €96,000. So you're looking at about £80,000 a week, or £85,000 a week. Bro, get him to City, give him 250 bags, and say that'll increase to 350 if you perform.
Why do you think that there's loads of noise coming out saying City are interested and this club is interested when he's on that wage bracket because he wants a new deal? He wants to be one of the highest paid players. It's clear. A guy at that size should not move like that. And he is if we're going to sign an attacking creative player, because he can play pretty much across the front three, left, right, middle, doesn't matter, then he is my pick. I think the thing is with Wirtz, depends on where Xabi Alonso ends up as a manager. I think if Xabi Alonso goes to Madrid, Wirtz will follow him. If we manage to pick up Xabi Alonso as our next manager, Wirtz will probably come to City. I think that's kind of the natural progression of what will happen because they'll probably want to work together again. So I get the comment of Wirtz stinks of Real Madrid because I think there's a lot of people, and myself included, who think the natural progression for Xabi Alonso is for him to return to Madrid when Carlo calls it a day. That's just what in my mind kind of makes sense. That's why I thought he did another season at Leverkusen, and that's kind of why I think Wirtz is, kind of got Real Madrid written all over him. Musiala would be tricky but more doable. Is again, if Wirtz depends on Xabi Alonso, then right now Musiala is the more gettable target because Wirtz is going to stick with Alonso. There's no chance.
I think people like look. I'm similar to a lot of you in the chat. I'm reading your messages, right? And I know a lot of you are saying, look, he's Bayern's biggest prospect. They want to make him the face of German football and the face of Bayern, etc. But Musiala has been stalling on a new contract for a while now, for at least a year. I mean, he's got 2 years left on his deal, Musiala. They need to start tying him down rapid if they want to keep him. And I think the issue with Musiala is he's not been satisfied with the project at Bayern Munich for a long time. I don't think he's felt it's stable. I don't think he's felt it's going in the right direction. And not winning the Bundesliga this season doesn't do them any favours. Is he bought into Vincent Kompany? Does he buy into Vincent Kompany? Does Kompany have enough pedigree and credit in the bank to persuade someone like Musiala to stay, sign a new deal, and invest his own time and development as a young player into Vinny's Bayern team? I don't know. I don't know. The sad part for me here is that I think if we had Pep for another 3 years guaranteed, I think Musiala would be a lot easier to sign. A lot easier. I think Pep's future at City may hinder our chances at signing Musiala. Because I think someone like Musiala, I know from his comments, if you read quotes from Musiala, he says, I want to win the biggest honours, both individually and as a team. I want to play for the best managers in the world. We have the best managers in the world. We're going to go through transition when Pep leaves. Does Musiala want to deal with that? I don't know. It's difficult to tell what Musiala wants. He's keeping his cards close to his chest, but you also get the vibe that he's not totally satisfied with the situation at Bayern Munich. But look, if you talk about ambitions, yeah, and the club being ambitious, if you're looking for your Kevin De Bruyne regen, I'm not saying he is the next Kevin De Bruyne or he's very like Kevin De Bruyne because he's quite different to Kevin De Bruyne in the way he plays. But if you're looking for the next impact midfielder who's world-class elite, without doubt, bro, he's him. Musiala's him, Chad. He would cook differently. Imagine Musiala beside Foden, sitting behind Haaland, Bernardo out in one wing. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe Doku in the other, Grealish, whatever you want. Fuck me. It would be raining goals. And then you got Bruno G, you got Rodri, whatever. We would be sick with Musiala. And look, with Wirtz, I'm a big fan of Wirtz. I'm a big fan of Wirtz. And everyone's like, oh, he's got Real Madrid written all over him. Well, does he, though? Well, does he? Because when I look at Real Madrid, I look at a club currently stacked. I mean, juiced up to the gills with attackers, Joe. You know what I'm saying? Wirtz plays left wing. Who else plays there? Mbappe and Vinny. I'm sorry, brother. You're not shifting either of them. Like, does it make sense for him to go to Real Madrid? If Alonso goes to Real Madrid and gets his hands on Vinny, Mbappe, Endrick, Brahim Diaz, Jude, Rodrigo, Valverde, does he still want Wirtz? Is he arsed about bringing Wirtz to Real Madrid with him when he has ready-made fucking superstars there for him? I don't know.
Well, there is that. I mean, there's kind of a domino effect, isn't there, with a lot of these things? The thing is, well, for these players, they're kind of in charge of their own future.
Yes.
Really. They can both decide kind of where they want to end up. The domino effect here is if Musiala leaves Bayern, opens the door for Wirtz to join Bayern. If Alonso goes to Madrid and takes Wirtz with him, that opens the door for someone from Madrid or a couple of players from Madrid to fall out and leave. And maybe there's a couple of Madrid players on the market in a couple of years if Xabi Alonso wants to bring Wirtz with him. And again, if Xabi Alonso leaves, goes to Madrid and doesn't bring Wirtz, surely Wirtz will be available. Surely he'd be there on the market, available. His manager's gone. Nobody knows, who Leverkusen, what shape they'd be in for one, and who they'd actually get to manage them for two. Mm-hmm. So these players are in the situation where they can decide, they can plan out where they want to be next. Whether it's signing a new contract or whether it's going to this club, that club, they have the choice. They can choose where they want to end up. And I hope that we're fairly high on the list because, within 12 months, we're probably going to need one of them. Kevin De Bruyne doesn't look like he's going to stick around for very long.
Yeah, I agree. And as Darsh and a few others in the chat have mentioned, and Patrick in the chat, of course, Patrick Colley, big up to you, mate, says Musiala's English quota. He fills, he fits the criteria to fill the homegrown quota. So
Chelsea boy. Imagine we give him Cole Palmer, and we end up with Musiala. Who's the happier of the two sides?
That sounds like a good deal to me. Yeah, that sounds like. Spit on that and shake it, my friend. I think that's a good deal to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the Big Six. Yeah, the Big Six have a Discord server, and all the Big Six members are active in there. Big up to any of you if you're in that as well. And I got asked by one of them tonight, how do I feel about Gundo going? Do you know what I'm saying? Could he have stayed on after the way he played tonight? I thought he was magnificent tonight as always. And I was like, yeah, it hurts. I think Gundogan could have done another year. The idea of Foden playing beside Gundo, particularly while De Bruyne was out, would have been, I think sensational. And then we spoke about Mahrez, and then a couple of Chelsea fans pipe up. They're like, what about Palmer? Are you not burnt about Cole Palmer leaving? And I was like, you know what? I'm not. I think Palmer's a terrific player, and he's got a really high ceiling, and he's going to be a terrific player. But do I feel burnt about the fact that we had him and now he's gone? I don't, because at City, we've come accustomed to really good talents coming through our academy and ultimately playing elsewhere. It's just normal life at City. Your Sancho's, Brahim Diaz's, two of which played in the Champions League final this season. Are we sitting here going like, oh, I wish we had both of them? No, because in the long grass, it always seems to work out for us. It always seems to make sense. You know what I'm saying? City always seem to come out looking the best from the situation. In hindsight now, does that business, the Cole Palmer business, look amazing? No, because we sold Cole Palmer and the same week we bought Mateus Nunes. Who had more impact this season? Of course, Cole Palmer. But am I confident that ultimately, over the course of the next 1 to 2 to 3 windows, City will make it very fucking clear we're not missing Cole Palmer? Yeah, I am. Because our transfer business is the best in England. The best in England. Damn fucking right. You know what I'm saying, Joe? I don't know much about him, but yeah, he's coming.
Not asked at all. Really not asked. I mean, last minute winner at Newcastle, St James's Park, Oscar Bob scored it. If Cole Palmer's still at the club, Oscar Bob's not on the pitch. Like, There's no regrets from me whatsoever. Cole Palmer scored a load of penalties, got Chelsea back into European football, which was kind of the minimum expectation for Chelsea, wasn't it? To get them back in at least some form of European competition was probably the aim at the start of the season, and he achieved that. It was their player of the season. Again, his numbers were great, even though most of them were penalties. His numbers were still great. I don't really care, because within a few years, Cole Palmer who? Like, will it move? No, will it moved on and found someone else? That's how it works.
It's true.
We just do it. Remember we had that period. Now he's dog shit, so I'm glad we got rid of him. We fleeced Barca even though he was free. Eric Garcia. He had like half a season where he was starting for us, and then said he wanted to leave and went to Barcelona. We don't even think about him anymore. Ferran Torres, halfway through a season where we didn't have a number 9 and he was playing up front, said he wanted to leave to Barca. We sold him. Won the league. I don't care.
No, it is what it is. Like I said, we've become accustomed to young players leaving and doing very well wherever they go. Some of them have done really well, and some of them done okay. The plenty of them have gone on to have pretty good, stable careers wherever they've ended up. So I'm not too bothered. I mean, I don't know Echeverri too well, chat. I'm not gonna lie. I've not watched a lot of him. I know he's very, very rated in Argentina. So maybe he's our Endrick. Do you know what I'm saying? Endrick's coming to Real Madrid. Echeverri's coming to Man City. Who knows? Who knows?
A child, though. He's like 16.
I know. Look, the thing is with Echeverri, he could easily be another one of these players who comes to City, clearly a really, really top talent, and we sell him. You know, we sell him, and all of a sudden we're all kind of going, "Why'd you sell him? He's a good player. We could have done with him." But eventually, we get in a better player, and we're more satisfied with the situation. Or else Echeverri does come in, absolutely bangs. We're all buzzing, and you know, happily ever after type shit. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see, man. Some of Comment City fans shows where this club is heading towards mediocrity. No. We're not heading towards mediocrity, guys. We're 9 likes off 100. So hit that like button, please, and help us get to 100. Subscribe if you're new around here. We're on the road to 10k. I know I always say 1 million because that's what we want to hit by this time next year, 1 million. But for now, it's 10k. For now, it's 10k. So subscribe and help us get to 10k. Share it around, man. Share the community around. Big up Tyrone Douglas. And there's a link in the chat if anybody would like to become a channel member and help support me and Joey. It helps more than you know. Channel members, you really, really help this channel much more than you can imagine. And we appreciate you. We really appreciate all of our channel members here. So yeah, become a channel member tonight. Why not? Right. Yeah, see those emojis. Nice emojis. Joe makes them. Very artistic of Joe. Right. Let's talk about someone else who City have been kind of linked with, although I really highly doubt this happens. Olise, according to David Ornstein, City are interested in Michael Olise. He has a very controversial, or I don't know, unclear, I think, release clause of 60 million, but there's caveats to that 60 million. Like there's other terms to it, like only Champions League clubs can trigger it is apparently one of them. I like Olise. Would he be primary target number 1 for me? No. Would I be happy if we got him? Yeah, why not? Joe, how'd you feel about Olise?
On the one hand, I love it, but on the other hand, like you said, I'm not desperate. And what does that do to someone like Savio within in a few weeks? We expect his deal to be done. It's still pinned on Romano's Twitter, or it was the other day. July 1st, Savio. That's, when it's supposed to be said and done. So what does that do to him? What does that do to Oscar Bob? Like, I don't think it's of utmost importance. Bernardo Silva, who, we may speak on, but it's relevant here because he doesn't believe he's going to leave because no one's come in for him. So is there really space for an Olise? Yes, if you get all your other targets first. If you get your Bruno in, I'd still prioritise maybe an attacking midfield player. Then I'd be like, Olise, why not, if we can do it? But there are other areas I want us to address first, because I like Olise. I really do like Olise. And we have a potential hole on our right-hand side that is a little bit uncertain, because Grealish plays off the left. Doku looks... I think the plan was to bring him on the right, but he's looked better off the left, so he's kind of a left-hand sided player now. On the right, you got Bernardo, but within a few years he could be off because he'd be in his 30s and he's never really been settled for the last few years. Then you've got Savio, who knows what's going to happen there. Oscar Bob, again, who knows what's going to happen there. So I wouldn't be against it. He's clearly a quality player, but it's not of the utmost importance. It's another release clause, which is probably why we're linked, because we love a release clause, but it's not Bruno for me is a must. Maybe signing an attacking creative player, again, more of a priority. Olise is not a must. He's not. He's a luxury at that point. It's a sign that you've got your rest of your targets and you still have a little bit of room to manoeuvre.
I'm going to make a comparison here, people, and you're not to start shooting at me here, yeah? Put your guns down for a second, because I'm not saying he's as good as, but he gives me Mahrez vibes, yeah? Mahrez at Leicester vibes, you know what I'm saying? The top man on his team, a tricky winger who can cut in and score type thing. He can create. I think he's a really good player, Olise. If we signed Bruno in the next 2 weeks and then City went, boom, we want Olise, I go, yeah, okay, I like this. I'm here for this. City are being aggressive. But I think you got to go after your primary targets first. You got to go after your priority positions that need backup and need help. So look, we'll see. I do expect one or two attacking signings this summer on top of Savio. I just don't know who it is. I don't know who it is. I would love it. I would love nothing more, people, than to wake up on July 15th, the day after Germany have won the Euros, and here City are going to put in a big offer for Musiala. We'll have to see. Heading to America next month for pre-season. I'll be on Savio watch for all the matches. That is sick. You're going to America for the pre-season. Patrick, I don't know where you're getting your cash from, but you know what I mean? Send some over here, mate. Send some over here, and I'll join you on preseason. I'm going.
You're going to America.
Speaking of preseason, yeah, Turkish literally just messaged me now saying he's booked flights for LA. I'm going. Do you know what, Patrick? I'm going to preseason, but I'm going to watch Arsenal Man United. I'm going to watch Arsenal Man United in the SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. So that's my preseason. It'll be a sick trip though. Sick trip with mates and that. But yeah, man, I'm jealous of you going to watch the boys in blue over in the States. That's so sick, man. I'm buzzing for you. But yeah, look, with Olise, I like him, man. I like him, but is he primary target number one? No, I don't think he is. Is there anybody else? Anybody else worth talking about?
You touched on Kovacic. There was some. Tommy said something about Mateus Nunes about Saudi willing to give us our cash back for him, which I thought was wild.
What do you think about Mateus Nunes moving forward, if he is to move forward? I don't know what his role in the squad is, if I'm being totally honest. I don't know. I don't know what Pep sees for him. I don't know what position he really plays. We've seen him in midfield. We've seen him deep. We've seen him in left wing. I don't know what the plan for Nunes is. I think Pep likes him, but I don't know. I mean, Joe, where are you at with this guy?
I mean, I really like.
Sorry.
I've always maintained that I really like him as a player. I think that he has uncoachable or very hard to coach, like the things that he's good at. Like he's very good at things that it's very hard to get into a player. It's very hard to drill into a player to drop deep, receive the ball, turn and run 4 yards. That is something that, players are kind of just good at doing that. They like doing that. They're natural at that. And that is something that you can't coach someone to have an engine. It's uncoachable. Like he's got things that he's good at that are rare in a player. But what is the plan? Where does he fit? Where's his best position? He can kind of play everywhere and anywhere, but not nail down a role or a place in the team. Like we've seen him on both wings, number 10 in a pivot, the deeper of the the deeper of a midfield role. We've seen him all over the place, but nowhere regularly, and we don't know where he's actually best. Like it's just a bit of a myth, really. So I think I'm in the position with Nunes where what I think is I wouldn't be annoyed or I wouldn't be totally against selling him. If a club offers close to, maybe a bit more than what we paid for him, I'd be more than happy to say it just didn't work. didn't work, cut our losses, get someone who we know where they're going to play. We know what their position and role is. Because Nunes, we just don't know. So I wouldn't be against it. However, if you had to give me the option, we're going to sign, let's say we're going to sign Bruno and we're going to sign, another attacking midfield player. And one of Kovacic or Nunes had to give to make way, I'd get rid of Kovacic and keep Nunes. I think that's kind of the place where I'm at, where I have more hope of Nunes turning out long term than I do with Kovacic having enough of an impact short term to warrant keeping him over. Like, that's kind of where I'm at, where I still have hope because I still really like him as a player. But I'm going to be honest, if a club comes in, offers what we paid, might have to say see in a bit, because there's a lot to like. People keep mentioning him playing right wing back. Has he ever done that in his career before? Played as a fullback? Are we seriously suggesting that we sign this guy, midfielder, and he's going to now turn out at right back? I just don't see it, man. That kind of speaks volumes, really, to the uncertainties of what he is as a player, is that people are now mentioning his name and right back in the same sentence, and everybody's kind of going, well, maybe he can do that. Not how it works.
No. Look, I'm always reluctant to write off players, particularly at his age, at Manchester City, because there's so many cases of players you're kind of not sure of them in the first season. Mahrez, Rodri, these kind of players, I wasn't sure of them. I'm not even going to cap people. I wasn't sure of them in their first season, and all of a sudden,
difference was they had positions. Mahrez, you knew, was on the right. Rodri, you knew, was a holding midfielder. With Nunes, again, I'm reluctant to write him off because he's only one season. But at the same time, he's not got a position. He does not have a role in the team where he doesn't have anything to build on, because he's played everywhere and barely played at that. So it's a bit of a different situation. But if we want runners and we want physicality and we want people who can, get about midfield, and I think that one of the things that we will lose with the fact that Kevin De Bruyne is older and cannot play every week 90 minutes, and that he'll probably leave in the next couple of years, is that he ran. He picked up the ball and ran. Foden does it. Apart from that, Kovacic kind of does it. Bernardo kind of does it, but he plays out wide. Like, it's just something that I really like in a midfield player, where if he can play deeper and he can progress the play without passing. Don't matter if he's a bad passer. He can progress by moving forward. He's quick as well. He's absolutely rapid, which caught me off guard, which is why I think he was using a wider position as well. Because, again, we don't know what he's actually best at.
Well, this is the thing with Pep. He's not afraid to try things that you just don't think make sense. Like, as crazy as it sounds, the right wing back thing, it wouldn't blow my mind if Pep tried him there. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think it would either. James Derbyshire, big up to you, man. He says, wrong, keep Kovacic, get rid of Nunes, lads, surely. I think both will be here next season. I think both will be here when push comes to shove, but I'll have to see. Big up Patrick again says, can he come to Orlando? I'm stuck with Martin there for a few days. Bro, send the cash, man. Send the cash. I'm there, Patrick. I'd fucking love to go to Orlando. Send the peas, and I'll be there with you. I'd love to spend some time with you and Martin in this blistering sunshine of Orlando. Guys, over 100 likes now. That's sick. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Subscribe if you're new around here on the road to 10k. And link in the chat if anybody wants to become a channel member and help support me and Joey Boy a bit further. I'm trying to see, is there anything else that we've missed out on? Anything small, even we can just mention. Fulham interested in Calvin Phillips. Just don't care. Just don't care.
I've seen an interesting point.
Oh, no, Joe. I know exactly where we're going.
Where are you going with this?
I know exactly where we're going, people. Yeah, I quote tweeted this. Laporta will attempt to buy Haaland from Manchester City next year.
No.
If Barcelona finances are stable. It's a big if. However, he's already gone as far as to tell the players' representatives. There you go, people. Barcelona are going to try and buy Erling Haaland next summer. Now, this is the same Barcelona who still owe us 50 million for Ferran Torres. Yeah? They still owe us 50 fucking million for Ferran. They are a broke bitch of a football club. Yeah, they're broke bitches. Barcelona are that guy on the tram with a cup in his hand asking you to give him £1. And you often do because you feel bad for the guy. But I don't feel bad for Barcelona. I'm sorry, I don't feel bad for Barcelona. They can go fuck themselves. Yeah? Get your finances in order. Give us our cash for Ferran Torres. Yeah? Then you're not getting Haaland. I hate to break it to you, lads. You're a big club on that, but you're not what you used to be. And City, yeah, need to stop your fetish for Barca. Need to stop this little love fest and you know what I'm saying? Romanticizing Barcelona Football Club because we don't care. I hate to break it to you, lads. I know you're Spanish on that, Tiki and them, but we don't care about Barca. Okay? Haaland is not going to Barcelona. I'll tell you that. I'm not ruling out Haaland leaving because I'm not that silly. He could leave eventually at some point. Who knows? Maybe. But I tell you now, it's not Barcelona. They do not have the facilities. They cannot compete. Yeah? They don't have enough money to buy him for either his release clause or outright. And they certainly don't have enough for his wages because they're currently paying all of them to Frankie de Jong. Hugh, the deal is Barca can pay the 50 million over the length of the contract for Varane, and they are up to date with payments. But the fact they have to do that, Patrick, just goes to show how skint they are. The fact they have to pay 50 million over the course of the length of his contract, which I'm going to find right fucking now. When did they sign him? 2022, Joe?
Something like that.
2020. We'll call it 2022.
It was 21-22, and it was in the January. So yeah, start of 2022.
And he signed for another 3 years. So they have 2027, 2022. They have 5 years to pay 50 million for a massive footballing institution. They are broke bitches. Yeah, go and do some crypto or something because you don't have the money. Yeah, go and buy a few lottery tickets. You don't have the money to pay for Erling Haaland. It's funny, Joe.
Can I leave? It's like,
No.
what?
No.
Waste of fucking time. What an absolute waste of fucking time. They're gonna pay via HMTV memberships. $3.99 a month. There you go, City. $3.99 a month. You ship Haaland off to Barcelona. Paying on fucking Klarna. What a load of bollocks. They're selling fucking blades of grass off the pitch, inviting people to have weddings in the fucking centre circle. You're telling me they can afford Haaland's release clause when they can't afford to fork over 50 million for Bernardo Silva? Are you fucking taking the piss? Are you mad?
Bro, my local football club here, big up Bohemians, yeah? Just gone full time in the last year, becoming a professional football club. They have as much chance of signing Erling Haaland right now as Barca. Yeah? Similar boats. Neither have the fucking money. Sorry, your badge, your name, and your new stadium are not going to be the defining factor in you signing the best striker in the world off us, who is one of the most expensive footballers in the world right now. It's just funny. I just thought it was funny, so I brought it up. And it says,
waste of fucking time, waste of breath.
It says if the finances are stable. You're going to need a lot more than just stable finances to sign Erling Haaland. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's a lot of clubs out there with stable finances. Yeah, look at who's got stable finances? Yeah, so like Port Vale or someone, anybody. Stable finances does not equate to signing Erling Haaland. You have to have big finances, big dough. It's it ain't happening. It ain't happening.
Stable finances. Big man, Laporta, yeah. Big man, yeah. Big fella. Hate to break it to you. Those finances, they ain't stable. They will not be stable. They will not be stable for a long time. How much were they in debt a few years ago? $1 billion? $1 billion. How many zeros?
They're selling the urinals from the old Nou Camp. And you're trying to tell me they want to buy Haaland?
You could have a five-a-side kickabout and a Spotify Camp Nou if you want, if you could pay. They're doing YouTube live streams and getting super chats off people. They are a different level of fucking skint.
Who in that Barca team has a bit of personality, yeah? Who's got a bit of personality in that Barca team? Rafinha?
Yeah, fair bit Brazilian.
Yeah, get someone like Rafinha to start a YouTube channel and tell him to start asking people for super chats and members and save up. save up. And you know what I mean? Maybe the thing is with them, you know them, they'd probably say, right, we'll pay Haaland's release clause of whatever it is, and we'll pay it over the next 50 years. And we're going, what? How many? 50 years. No, what'd you say? 50 years. Shut up! We're not falling for that shit again.
So I'll be dead, and they'll still be paying for this man who would have been retired for what, 30 years? Not even legal. After he's retired to still be paying off. No, that is right. You see those dog shit FFP rules, right? They're knocking about. Yeah, go after Barcelona, ruining their club financially, paying over Klarna for 50 years for a player. Yeah, go after them. That is not sensible financial decision making.
Dickheads. That's the final word. Dickheads. I think that's it, people. I think that's it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show. It was good fun. It's always good fun to chat to you guys live and direct. As I keep mentioning, people, every single goddamn day on this channel, we will have I will be doing 8 to 10 minute transfer random videos of the day's news. So please, today's one, the first one of the summer, dropped today. After this stream, go and check it out. Leave a like on it. And if you can't watch these lives, me and Joe are trying to do them every sort of second day to give news kind of time to build up and stuff to talk about. You know, you can check out those videos. But me and Joe will still go live kind of every second day because we want stuff to talk about. And I will get the panel back together next week. Me, Briggsy, Bevo, Tone, and Martin and Luke. Martin has joined, so there's 6 of us. Martin has joined the Wolf Pack, and we're going to dissect whatever's going on next week with Man City. And yeah, listen, big up to each and every single one of you, man. Big up to each and every single one of you. Champions, 4 in a row. Business this summer, though. We'll have to wait and see. And this is your home of transfer news. Big up, people. Smash the like button on your way out. If you're watching on playback, hit the like button, subscribe, and leave your thoughts down below in the comments. And we'll see you on Sunday for the next live stream, but tomorrow for the next video. Go and watch it. In a bit, people. Good night. God bless. Wrap up, Joe.
Listen to your heart. Tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe.